The Department of Family and Protective Services may waive the prohibitions and requirements under Section 171.043, 171.044, and 171.045 in accordance with Section 262.310 Family Code.
Okay. The important word in that those three lines is may. It does not say shall. It says the department may. The department may. But if the department chooses not to, the department's duty already is to keep children safe in Texas. The department is already going to be involved if a child is abandoned. The department is going to be involved whether it is at 6 months, 2 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, all the way up to 18 years. The department is involved. What this does, however, is where we see little children who are helpless, who are below the age of 1, that cannot leave, go anywhere, hide, defend themselves against a big bully who's beating them up, who's terrorizing them, and is causing them internal body injuries. This is just saving the lives, because what we hear about day in and day out is of these toddlers dying. So I ask you, what do you have against children who are older than 60 days, up to 1 year old, from having a higher percentage of survival by having it possible to be placed through baby Moses without their parents' fear of prostitution? So therefore, they brought them in instead of hiding them and injuring them.
Representative Duke, the May does put DPS into the position of authorizing abortions beyond 5 months.
It allows them to, but if they don't, what this actually triggers is safety for kids up to age 1. Because a lot of times these parents don't bring them in, don't do anything else because they don't have any place to take them. Numerous times women who've had post-traumatic stress disorder, and we just had one recently right here in Texas, who tried to sell her baby on Craigslist. So she said she didn't know what to do. She knew she couldn't abandon the child. So she tried to place the child. Actually, she didn't ask for any money. She just asked for some nice family to come and adopt her kid on Craigslist. Now, the woman is being indicted because she went on Craigslist, which is probably not the best thing to do, but she was looking for an out. With this, with the baby Moses law, we at least would give them the option of going to a hospital or police department and leaving the child up to age 1. So it's about protecting this child that did get here. What's wrong with that?
I've given you my answer, Representative Duke.
Is there a problem once they get here?
I've given you my answer.
Pardon me?
I have given you my answer.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time. What was your answer about why you don't want to protect kids that are older than 60 days?
You're placing DPS in the position of making decisions on approving abortions after 5 months.
DPS doesn't have to approve it. As a matter of fact, it is permissive.
But
what it does is create a safety provision for these children. What is wrong with providing safety for the child that is here?
Representative Duke, I've given you my answer.
No, I'm sorry, I just don't understand how you cannot put some protections in place for children who are born.
Thank you.
Mr. Simmons, for what purpose?
Ask a couple of questions, gentlelady.
Laudenberg, you yield?
Yes, I will.
Gentlelady, yield.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Laudenberg, I want to make sure I understand this amendment. The way I read it under Section 262.310 is that it says that the Department of Family and Protective Services, it appears to me that we're trying to authorize them to allow a woman to have an abortion after 20 weeks. We're now giving them that authority. Is that correct? Is that what this says?
Yes, it is.
And then if they don't allow them to do that, and the baby won't, and the mother wants to drop the baby off, they're extending that period from 60 days to 1 year. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So this is somewhat of a backdoor way to allow a governmental agency to approve abortions beyond 20 weeks. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So it's not, it is partially about, I understand what Representative Dukes is saying about, extending the ability to drop the baby off, and that does sound good, and maybe probably something we should work on next time or something like that. But it's not just doing that, is it? It's also trying to grant a state government authority the ability to allow abortions beyond 20 weeks in direct conflict of this legislation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So it's not just about the born.
That is
It's
correct.
about giving people a chance, again, circumventing this law, to have abortions beyond 20 weeks for those 5-month-old babies in the womb. Is that correct?
That's a state agency, in fact.
And I'm happy to work with Representative Dukes. I know a lot of people would next session about looking at the baby Moses law and increasing that, because we certainly want to protect not just the unborn, but the born as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. I move the table.
Chair recognizes Representative Dukes to close on her amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was talking to Representative Morrison, who is the author of Baby Moses Law, and I think that I need to clarify exactly what this amendment does. The amendment says that it is not a requirement that the Department of Family and Protective Services allow for an abortion, that they allow a waiver. This amendment, if you look at line 4, the very last word is may, which means it's permissive. They may provide an waiver so that an individual could have an abortion. But if they don't, then it goes to line 12 that says if the agency does not allow for an abortion after the 20-week time period, then the agency must receive a child from a parent up to the age of 1 under the provisions of the Baby Moses Law, which means that the parent, if they take the child to a safe haven without injury, would be immune from prosecution. It allows for that child to have a better place, opportunity at safety in this society. So let me say it again. It does not require the Department of Family and Protective Services to approve an abortion, because we all know the Department of Family and Protective Services' primary goal is to keep children safe, and they would like to keep families
Representative Morrison,
together.
for what purpose?
Would the lady yield for a question?
Certainly, I will yield for the
Lady
author
yield.
of Baby Moses.
Representative Dukes, I guess the confusion that I'm trying to figure out is the way the amendment is worded. I understand your concern of the children that are past the 60 days up to 12 months. Why is it worded where there is a waiver in your amendment? Because if there was just the wording of upping the age to 12 months, that would be a different issue. So I'm trying to figure out why it's worded the way it is. If you could explain that to me. Germaneness to try to get it into working on the legislation.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So once again, it does not require the agency to provide a waiver for an abortion. What it says, and I'm going to assume that every person who would apply would be denied a waiver for an abortion. But with that guarantees me that there's a possibility that that child, instead of being found under the cinder blocks in a house in San Antonio or in the freezer in a refrigerator in Houston or buried in the dirt in a backyard in Dallas would instead be taken to a safe haven because the parents know that
Ms. Leach, for what purpose?
1 year of age, there is no
Ms. Duke,
fear of
will you yield?
prosecution if the child is delivered and healthy. Yes, I do.
Gentlelady yields.
Representative Dukes, I just have one quick question. If we accept your amendment, are you planning on voting for this bill?
Are you going to vote for my amendment?
I'm asking you if we, I'm asking the question, if we
I think
accept
it's
your
an
amendment.
inappropriate question when there's been more than 30 amendments that I have voted for and you haven't accepted those. So this amendment is about whether or not you believe that a child should be protected after they are born and from 60 days up until 1 year. So that's the only thing that is discussed here. Because I don't think there's anything, with all due respect, there's nothing in the bill that says, is Dawnna Dukes going to vote for this? So since earlier they said stay on the question and stay on the amendment, let's talk about the amendment. Because this amendment is about protecting children.
Representative, you've authored this amendment because you believe it makes the bill better, and so I'm asking you if we accept your amendment and or if the House approves it, are you planning on voting for the bill?
Every person has the right to offer an amendment. How many terms have you been here?
Well, this is my first term, as you well know, and I
Then you're learning. Everybody has the option to offer an amendment.
So you're not going to answer my question. That's okay. I just wanted to make clear.
Well, you ask that same question of other people. It doesn't matter what you believe I'm going to do, but what is important is whether or not you are going to protect children up until 1 year of age. You can choose to vote against it because you think I'm going to vote against the bill, but that's not going to save a life. It's not going to save a child who might get abused and who might get neglected, who might get beat by their parents because they don't have any place else to put it.
I'm just asking you, and obviously you're not going to answer. I just want to know for my own benefit and for the benefit
I'm going to
of the
vote for
members
this
here.
amendment.
Okay, that's great.
And then if there are other amendments, and if this bill continues to improve, it improves the possibility.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Speaker.
Ms. Turner, for what purpose?
Gentleman to yield.
Ms. Dukes, will you yield?
Yes.
Gentlelady yields.
Thank you. President Dukes, follow up on Representative Leach's question. Do you think this underlying bill we're debating, House Bill 2, do you think it's a good bill?
House Bill 2?
Yeah.
Well, House Bill 2 is in conflict with some of the U.S. constitutional provisions.
I agree. I agree it's a bad bill. Your amendment would make this bill a little bit better.
Palatable.
A little bit better. But
There's a little bit of rude.
Would it still be a bad bill, even if your amendment got on?
It still would be a problematic bill, but it does provide for, because so many additional women would have to carry to term because of the provisions in the bill and the inability to acquire an abortion, there will be more children who will be put in unsafe environments. So if the ultimate goal is to ensure the safety of an individual, then ensure their safety after they're born as well.
I agree with you. I think you have a good amendment, and I think that there are a lot of times when we oppose bills on this floor, we try to make them a little bit better through amendments, but we still conclude at the end of the day the underlying product is a bad bill and we vote against that, and I think every member in this House has done that, so thank you.
You know, a lot of times it seems that some people believe that you step up to the microphone and you offer an amendment just because it is a game and it is a got-you situation, that it's just an opportunity just to run out the clock. Well, let me tell you, I've been working on families with the Department of Family and Protective Services for over 12 years in my role on the Appropriations Committee. And I am insulted that someone would believe that an effort that I am making to try and protect children, to give them the option in a safe place, the Baby Moses laws, is something that they need to step to the back microphone and ask me some silly question as if I'm doing this as a game. Children are not a game to me. Children who are endangered are not a game to me. I chose to adopt a child out of the Department of Family and Protective Services to keep her safe. And if the last breath I take is to stand up here and to fight for other children, then I'll offer other amendments that expand the Baby Moses law. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I would ask the membership to vote against the motion to table.
Members, excuse Representative Guerin because of important business on the motion by Representative Moody. Is there any objection? Chair hears none. So members, Representative Duke sends up an amendment. Representative Laudenberg moves the table. The question is on the motion to table. The record vote. Clerk, ring the bell. Show Representative Laudenberg voting aye. Representative Johnson voting no. Representative Lucio voting no. Show Representative Colcart voting aye. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? There being 90 ayes and 53 nays, the motion to table prevails.